Okay, so for any Windows environment, of course, we are going to need Active Directory. And for Active Directory, of course, we are going to need to promote at least one domain controller. And this is what we will do in this video. The basic steps are that we will first create a 2012 machine. Then we will configure the basic settings like the name, the network settings and firewall. And then we will promote the server to a domain controller. So I'm on my Hyper-V server, and for now I have only one virtual machine, which is a router that will route the traffic from my virtual environment to my PC. And I will create now a machine that will be our domain controller. New virtual machine. And by the way, I forgot, on my Hyper-V server, I'm running Windows Server 2019. Just so you know. Okay, so I will name the virtual machine in a specific way. In case I create other VMs, I want the ones from this series to be separated. So it will be named Lab 2012 minus DC01, and DC01 will be the name of the Windows machine. Generation 2. For RAM I will use dynamic, and for startup 124 is enough. I will connect it to my 192.168.10 network. The hard disk can be 40 gigabytes with no problem. Now I will be installing it from an ISO image that is on my desktop. And the machine is being created. I just want to make some more quick settings before I turn it on. So settings. In memory, I want to make sure that the maximum RAM is 248. I wanted to have 2 processors. Okay. For integration services, I want also the guest services. Checkpoints are okay. And because it's not important to me, I will set nothing on automatic start action and shut down at automatic stop action. So now we are ready to install the OS. Let's start the machine. Press any key. Okay. And this is the basic install of an OS. Next, install. Here you have to be careful. Since it's the first video, I will take you easy and we will be installing the graphical interface version. Let's accept. Let's click next. And now we have to wait for the OS to install, and at the next screen we will enter the administrator password. Okay, so after some minutes you will get this screen. You have to enter an administrator password. Just take care to know that this administrator user will become the domain administrator after we promote the domain controller. So I put directly a password that I know I want for my domain admin. And the server is installed. We just now have to configure a name, network settings, firewall, and then we can of course promote it. Let's log on. And first we get, of course, the new server manager that appeared in Windows Server 2012. And if we click on local server, here we can configure a lot of things directly. Let's change the computer name first. And like I said, I will call it DC01. Okay, it's done. I will not restart it yet because I still want to enable the remote desktop, because we will be remoting into it after we configure the networking part. And I want to set a static IP address. Okay. So in my case it will be 192.168.10.1. Subnet mask is correct. For the default gateway I will use the IP that I have on my router. And for now DNS is not important because this will be the first domain controller. The important thing was the IP address. Okay. So this is also done. Let's configure also the firewall. I want to enable ping, basically. Ping and SMB. So we can access shares. So this is the firewall rule for ping. Done. And this is the firewall rule for SMB. Also done. So now we can restart the server and I will log on to it remotely next. Okay, so now I'm logged on with remote desktop. And one more thing I want to do is raise a little the size of items on the screen so it's easier for us to see in recordings. So I will set it to larger, and of course now I will have to log off and log on again. So now you can see everything looks a little bigger, which should help when you view this video on YouTube. Great, so now everything is configured. Let's turn this server into a domain controller. Manage. add roles and features, and we will be installing the Active Directory Domain Services role. The second one. We will install all the other features. Okay, next, finish and install. A basic Windows installation. And this will take maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, feature installed. And now you can see in the server manager we have an alert, which tells us that even though we installed the ADDS role, this server is not a domain controller until we promote it. So let's do that. Now in our case, this is a new environment, so we will be creating a new forest, and I will name mine testcorp.com. Okay, testcorp.com. The forest and domain level can be 2012. This is all that we will use. Enter a restore mode password. Okay, next. Now we have to wait to generate the NetBIOS domain name. I'm happy with this one, so I will not change it. The paths to everything are okay with me, so next. Here you can review everything that you set, and also if you click on view script, you will get the PowerShell command that will do everything that we did in this wizard using PowerShell. Next, now the server will check for all the prerequisites, which this is also a new thing. And in our case it said that everything is okay, so we can continue with the promotion. So I'll click on install, and this will also take a couple of minutes, so I'll see you when it's done. And as you can see, when it's done, it will automatically restart the server. Great, so now this server is a domain controller, and one more thing I want to do that is, let's say, extra, it will not necessarily help in this course, is create a DNS reverse lookup zone. And this is something that I always like to do in all my test environments, just to do it. So new zone, next, it's a primary zone and it's also stored in Active Directory. This is okay like it is, and I only have to enter the network ID. And now it is created. And just to start it up correctly, I want to have this server register itself dynamically. And I forgot something. Now it's better. So ipconfig register DNS. And now if we press F5, the pointer record appears. So, one thing I want to mention, if you type ipconfig all, you'll see that this server has itself as a DNS server. For now it doesn't matter, but you will see that we will change this as soon as we have more domain controllers. And speaking of this, in the next video we are going to clone a domain controller. So if you want to prepare for that video, then add a second domain controller to our environment named DC02. Just install the server, promote the domain controller, and in the next video we will clone that one to make a third domain controller. If you liked this video and you want to see more, then please like, share and subscribe, and thanks for watching.